And we're going to go live. And we're going to start. We're on. Good morning, everyone. How are we?
Morning.
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 Afternoon.
Morning.
Afternoon. Your morning.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to crack on with today's masterclass with who I personally do hand over the crown to as being the queen of collaborations. And that is contemporary British artist Charlotte Posner. Charlotte, hello.
Hello.
How are we in London?
We are brilliant. It's a lovely, clear, sunny day.
Oh, it's good. It's quite nippy here, but we've got like a little bit of sunshine your end, chill my end, and then Anna's got blazing sunshine in Dubai.
Oh, lovely. Oh, you're in Dubai, Anna?
I am in Dubai at the moment.
Lovely.
Yeah. So just a couple of things for people who are watching and for, make the most of these sessions. Okay, they are part of the Brand Collaboration Council. It's thought leaders. It's people around the world who are doing really cool things with collaborations, because collaborations are not just about pick a brand, match it. It's a lot of deep thinking. So if you have any questions as we go along, pop them into the Q&A box, and we're going to be answering those at the end for Charlotte. But the whole day, the whole process of this half an hour with Charlotte is we like a really relaxed style. So you're going to walk away with insights and a few things, but predominantly it's around diversification. And Charlotte, in terms of, where I see you sit, you've done your Pop Doll series, but you've worked with some of the world's leading brands, and you've moved your canvas onto crockery, onto dresses, onto soaps, onto skincare. And that's a really powerful thing. And I think for the art community, where I want to kind of ask the question is like, when did you realize as an artist that you had to diversify your business to bring in different income streams? What was the moment you went, look, I need to do this?
So I think the earliest memory I've got of me thinking like that is when I was 15. So I've always worked from when I was 13, actually, in Saturday jobs, in hairdressers, doing like very grafting and, always had a job. And I worked in a shoe shop and they had a Birkenstock stand. And I thought we should bling the Birkenstocks. So I used to go to this bead shop in Beak Street and I bought these Swarovski crystals and I made a little Charlotte Posner ex Birkenstock stand, and I'd stick all the crystals on the shoes and then I'd sell them, me and the owner of the shoe shop would split the profit. So I think that's like a really early start. And then also I used to go to Camden Market and buy jeans, cut the bottoms, rip them up, stick all patches on them to then be able to sell little skirts. Mm-hmm. And then when I was in the shoe shop, they said to me, oh, we need to redecorate. And I was like, I'll do it. So I was up a ladder painting the big sign on the wall. And they were like, oh, like, do we trust you? And I just went for it. So
they just let you go ahead and
let me go ahead. But I think it also came down to like my upbringing. So yeah. I used to just paint my mum and dad were quite open-minded, and I just used to paint in my bedroom. So I remember I had this like painted tree on the back of my door, or I used to like just get creative in the house. I used to like move furniture around. So that's like my earliest memory of kind of thinking a bit, how to do my own thing. But there was a point where I was working for Vivienne Westwood, actually. So I've had a million part-time jobs. So a quick tip I always said when I finished art school, if I got a full-time working job, I wouldn't make time for my art. So I always tried to work 4 days a week or work on a weekend. So I had a day to create, because you need to make space to be creative when you've got a job as well. Because obviously at the beginning you need an income and it's hard at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then, so I worked part-time for Vivienne Westwood, and I was wrapping up these products and I was like, I don't want to be selling the products. I want to be designing the products. And there was a point and I was like, I don't want to be doing this. And I didn't like it there. And they were all quite a bit snobby, to be honest. And I was just like, I need to.
So work at Vivienne Westwood.
Yeah, I just didn't like it at all. So, so that was like a tipping point as well for me.
Yeah, because you kind of need, I think with anything, you need to, when you are an artist, you need to then work out how to make the money, but also how not to kill the art by sort of going. I've seen so many artists where they go off and they go, well, I wanted to, and then I had to work. It's like, no, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do it like that.
I think the core to, I've always said that, like we've always said, the core to our brand is the art. So it all pivots off of the artwork. So I'm primarily an artist, and then we make products which are art products. So that's like a big thing for us. Like our main statement is that we are like the art as our core.
Absolutely.
Fantastic tip as well for coming out of art school, isn't it? Keeping that day and having that time set aside. But you obviously had so much confidence from how you were brought up with your art, and that's how you were able just to put yourself forward in all these part-time jobs and get so creative with them. But who do you think was your first breakthrough brand, your first big collaboration, and how did you decide, yes, I'm going to go for this, I'm going to do this?
So I'm just going to show you.
Oh.
So I've just got a little bit of art here. So I started by doing my pop dolls. So I was painting, I got trained at school in oils when I was like in the art department, and I was painting very traditional, very tight-knit paintings, and they were very bit mystical. I used to create like these spaces of, like, I used to like to put real life rooms with magic as well. So I used to like do all this kind of like a bit mystical art. And then I did a pop doll. So I was away with my mum on holiday, and I saw the ice cream board, and I was like, oh, I'll make them into fashion figures. So I put it onto Facebook, and I got so much response from this like pop art I did. And I was like, oh, and then a friend of a friend was like, can I buy it? And I was like, oh yeah, definitely. And then I did another one. And then I thought, I'll do another one and I'll tweet the brand. So I did one of Magnum. I'm going to show you now. I'll show you what my pop dolls are as well for those. So they're 5 figures in a row. And this is, so for instance, like this was one of the early day ones, the tomato ketchup, or this is a men's toiletry, set to, and then I've got game boards.
Oh, I love those. Oh,
thank you. So they kind of can be made into absolutely anything. So I created these figures, and I actually did this one. I did the Magnums and I filmed it all. I recommend everything you do, film, put on Instagram. Instagram is an unbelievable platform for getting your stuff out there. Because before that as well, I used to like put my stuff into, it was like 10 years ago, I used to like put myself on art websites, or like try and get how do I get my name out there? Because you're tucked away. You need people to see you. So just get on forums, get on platforms, get on Instagram, and really, there's never too much. Some people are like, oh, you post too much, but you can never post too much because you're showing different people all the time. Anyway, so I did this one. I tweeted it to Magnum, and then they tweeted back and they reposted my work. And I was like, oh. And then I did like Diet Coke, and I pinged it to Diet Coke on Twitter, and they reposted it. I was like, oh my gosh, Diet Coke have reposted my work. And then I started doing all the brands, and they were all reposting my work. And then I got a message from Magnum being like, hi, Charlotte, we love your work. Can we use it for a campaign? And I was like, yes, like, this is amazing.
That's amazing. So would you say that Magnum is the one which you just went, I'm in, this is it?
I was like, this is it. I was like, I'm working with Magnum. Although, it was early days of doing these, and they, as the other way, they sent me a freezer full of mini Magnums as the collaboration. So I ended up doing a big Facebook campaign with them, and it had I made sure my signature was on it. There was no written contract. I just sent them the artwork, and I wanted my name on it, like collaboration with Charlotte. And then I got this freezer full of mini Magnums, which was something.
Yeah.
And then I started making prints of my work, because I was just painting the originals. I was hand painting them all. And I realized that people don't necessarily want the real, they don't ask, is it hand painted or is it a print?
Okay.
So I was doing exhibitions, and I was doing all of they take me hours to do. And these people that were buying them weren't seeing the value in the time, so they didn't actually mind. So I thought I can make prints. Mm-hmm. So I had the work photographed from a professional photographer, and then I made a limited edition run. And then I built my website myself on Shopify. So, you know, you can link your website now with your Instagram so people can shop, and it's it's brilliant, I think. Because it's a platform to get yourself out there and that you can sell as well.
Yes, yeah.
So then I was doing my prints and putting them online and building up. And now I've got over 200 prints that I sell online. And then we offered a framing service. So it kind of grew gradually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was kind of.
So you're adding on, so again, so your revenue stream, so you're commercializing your business by saying, look, it's taking X amount of time to do a hand print, which is going to cost X.
Yeah.
So we're going to do the prints, which cost less because the audience still loves the prints. And then we're going to add on the framing service.
Yes.
So you're kind of continuously kind of being commercial with what you're doing. But the one thing you said, which I was going to ask it later, but I'm going to do it now because this is how we roll. You did a very good barter with Magnum. And one of the artists are like, should you do barters? Now, personally, I'm a firm believer of you got to mix barters in with your marketing campaigns.
Yeah.
But what's your advice with barters? Because sometimes you can get them really wrong. Sometimes they can be absolutely fabulous.
So the things that I barter with well is my dentist. I pay my dentist in art instead of my teeth. my accountant, I pay him, I do an artwork, my personal accountant, I do an artwork for him every year and he does my accounts. I've swapped things with my art. I worked with Tinker Tailor, who are an amazing, I've actually got one of their things here. They're a Christmas decoration. We did half art swap, half money swap to make, little decorations. So I think bartering is a definite yes. I think definitely barter. And it's what you feel comfortable with. You can't say one thing's more than the other. And yeah, definitely. But, say, can I swap an artwork for some PR? Can I swap an artwork for this or that? I think it's definitely one to do. And when I work with brands and collaborate, I say to them, you will have, as well as I need a fee, but also you will have an original painting for your office. You give them the art as well. So, when I work with Louis Vuitton, I give them the original artworks in the deal as well.
Yeah. So, and it does work. I think it's how you do it. But so the other thing which you've diversified so much without going off your art. But what's your kind of tips for artists who are sitting there going, I just paint on canvas. I don't, how do I, you've done dresses, you've worked with soap companies, you've worked with candles. What's your tips around kind of that boundaryless thinking for an artist going, okay, this is how you should do it. This is how you should target industries. These are the types of industries you should go for.
Okay, so I think starting off, the problem is that if you buy from overseas, you have to buy in bulks of 1,000 and it's too much. So there's a lot of companies out there. If you just Google like t-shirt company or candle companies, you can buy small runs. So literally you find what you love. Like if you love candles, find a candle brand to collaborate with. If you love bags, find a little bag manufacturer. If you love t-shirts, find a t-shirt manufacturer's caps, water bottles. There's 100, it's all at the tip of your fingers. Just Google what you love and stick with one to start with, or two, or even like three, so you've got a little range. Stick with 3 products that you absolutely love and then order them and put your artwork onto the products. Like when I started, I went to a local school uniform factory in Essex and he had these mini little, I said, what have you got that I can like print on? So I sent him the JPEG of my artwork and he had these little mini Hessian bags, little zipper bags, and I printed my pop dolls on them. And then I sold them at a Christmas fair. So, and
you buy the product and then you paint on it, or you contact them and say, I want to collaborate with you.
I didn't paint on the product. I had them printed on the product. So I went and found the manufacturer and said, I've got this bag. Can you print on it? And then I'd have my pop dolls printed. I'd make 10 of each design and then stuff them with some tissue paper, sell them at a fair. That's the beginning of it. And then buy packaging and.
Yeah. And what about the collaboration with Never Fully Dressed? Because I mean, that's a really cool. I mean, Lucy's doing such a good job, and the dresses are great. We see them pop up all over the place. But how did you get that collaboration?
Well, we just started with an agency called CPLG, and they actually got us that collaboration, which was amazing. But I know the girls beforehand as well, because I'm from where they're from. So I always popped in the shop. So, you know, I think when you build relationships with people and they know who you are before you start working with them. And actually I worked with them on a project 2 years ago where I walked into their shop. I said, I'd love to do something with you. Can I do a live video of your outfits and then send it to you? So I had a stand with the camera, and I did a time lapse of me painting one of their leopard dresses about 2 years ago, and then they posted it on their Instagram. So that's a way in.
Yeah. So that's another thing actually, because someone came through and said they messaged last night. I said, like, how do you get into the brand? And I think sometimes it's doing something like what you did with Magnum. It's like actually showcasing what you can do and just sending it across to them, as opposed to an email.
Yes. An email. I don't like emails. I love phone calls. I'm terrible with my phone. I'm really bad. If someone calls me, I pick up the phone. I love a phone call and a Zoom or a meeting for coffee, even better. I think it's much more personable. I don't really read a lot of my emails, to be honest. You glaze over them. It's not personable. And I think there's nothing like meeting somebody or sending them your artwork. So actually physically do something. You know, everyone would love something received. Who receive things anymore? Like, if you want to collaborate with a brand, go and make something. Do a if you want to work with, I don't know, a big brand, I do all the sketches for them, do some ideas, and post it to them with a little note.
Yeah.
And they can physically touch and see it, you know. It's an experience for them as well, isn't it? Yeah. Brilliant. I mean, you've worked with so many brands, and when people start working with brands, like you've said, you approach them, you see which ones you like and build a relationship with them. But if brands start approaching you, you know, how do you know that they're the right brand for you? Like, how do you do your due diligence? What would be your top tips for people who are getting approached, and how to, you know, research their brands to know that they're doing the right thing?
I think it kind of flips, because the hardest thing when you're starting out is the brands contacting you. So you reach out to them at the beginning. And the way I worked with Louis Vuitton was I walked into their shop with one of these artworks. I'll show you now. This one. So let's take this out. So I went into their store in Bond Street, and I did this one they did a collaboration with Jeff Koons.
Yeah. I love it.
I framed it, and I was actually showing a gallery in Bond Street. I was just showing I used to carry my art around with me, just taking it to galleries to get opinions. Anyway, I took this in and I put it on the side, and then I gifted it to the management with my business card. And I got an email 3 weeks later saying, "Hi Charlotte, we love your artwork. Can we collaborate with you?"
Wow.
So I was like,
wow.
Yes. So I brought my best friend along, pretended she was worked with me. And then we sat there and we were drinking up Louis Vuitton cups, and the team are unbelievable. And I still work with them, and we do loads of collaborations. But I think you just need to be open-minded. So going back to your question, who do you work with? Who don't you work with? I'm quite a yes girl. So I like to say yes to a lot of things, and I've got to get in my head that some things I have to say no to. You know, we get approached by a lot of charities every year, and I can't do them all, because if not, I'd just be doing charities. So you have to, you know, we pick 5 we work with, or so it's kind of just, if you like them, if you have a chat with them, if you get on with somebody, you like their brand, just have, I think it's very gut instinct, as if you like a person. If you'd want to sit and have dinner with somebody and you get on with them, you know, then you'd want to work with them. If you like the people
that you've worked with, have your contracts kind of organically grown? They've not been hard work to kind of put on paper? Because I think a lot of people, when they get given contracts and they read it, they may think, oh, I'm not too keen on that. If you're feeling a little bit tightened into a corner, you know, put in a box, should you just take a step back and you know, think about what you're giving up?
Yeah, I think if you've got a contract that you don't like, you don't do it. End of. Or you go back to them and say,
alarm bell.
I'm not comfortable with this. you know, I'm not comfortable with signing this. Can we talk about it?
And that's a key thing. I think that's one of the questions which Anna, she's an amazing artist in Dubai, Pop and Toast, and she's just saying, you know, she loves, I'm reading it out actually, so I love all of Charlotte's collaborations. It's fantastic for brand exposure. However, how do you work out a percentage in terms of cut for you as an artist? And I think that links also to the contract. But is there a baseline you work to? You know, what do you work to? If a contract comes through, what's the first things you look at?
So we've done so many different collaborations, and they've been totally, like, the contracts have been from extremes. So some of them might be loads of exposure. And then I always get paid for my designs, first of all, because my art is so, like, precious to me, and it's my time and energy. And if people receive a piece of art, it's valuable, because I don't ever put my art into sale. It only goes up in value. The prints also, once the limited edition run's done, then they'll become more valuable as well. So always, like, limit things. I always do limited edition signed artworks. So I always make sure, so, like, you know, if I was doing a huge collaboration, I might say, okay, you pay for the art full price. And then if I get lots of exposure and my name is on every single product, I'm happy to go ahead and get a tiny percentage, because it's great all round. But I think you've just got to feel really comfortable with it. If you're, you know, I think the average, I think it's 12.5%. I think that's like a baseline, but if you're working with a gallery, for instance, it's 50-50. So, you know, the gallerist always gets 50%. But then if we do pop-ups in stores, it can be 20% to the store. So it just depends on where you are. But, you know, if you get the opportunity to work with, like, Harrods, Selfridges, the percentage might be more, but you're in these stores. So they
outweigh each other, kind of thing.
They outweigh each other. And it's what you know, if someone's giving you nothing and it works out, you get 2p a thing, like, no way. So just say, no, thank you. And they have to value you.
Have you ever walked away from a collaboration where they haven't valued you? Like, when you started a relationship and you're going, hey, this brand isn't giving out as much as I'm putting in.
Yeah, there's been a few. There has.
Yeah. I think it's, you know, when we're talking about collaborations, we're trying to sort of educate people. It's a case of, it's a bit like a marriage. If it's not working, you have to walk away. And if you've got a brand who believes that they are more important than your brand, then there's an issue and you have to walk away.
I think there are bigger brands that you'd want to work with. So, you know, then you decide if you want to work with them or not. But it's your relationship with them. You know, if it's going to elevate, I think collaborations are amazing as well. I think even if you've got another artist, or you've got, you know, at the beginning I was like, I don't think you should look at it as competition with another artist. It's they're being creative, and you should let everyone, the world is so big and there's so many people you can work with and so many people you can collaborate with. So, you know, don't look, I also, like, never look at other people and be like, oh my gosh, like, how do they do it? No, focus on what you're doing, put it like, look at what you've done, be proud of what you've done, even if it's small or big, and just go with your flow. And I think you can go down a rabbit hole. One of the dangers of social media is you're, like, looking at this one and that one and, like, what are they doing? But it's quite forced as well. But
just focus on you.
Focus on what you're doing. If you're starting out and you want to diversify, then find different things that you love and just start somewhere and just do it.
Yeah. Do you have a goal, like, every year? Do you aim for 5 limited editions a year? What's your kind of targets you set yourself every year?
We work quite organically. Like, I work quite organically, and I'm quite, like, spontaneous with how I work. So we have, like, just, like, whims that pop up, or we're not. I mean, we don't look like long term, to be honest with you. It's kind of like, what's on the cards? What are we doing? Like, we plan per quarter. We just had, like, a meeting per quarter. But, like, who do we want to work with? Who's in our room now? Who can we reach out to? And then we have, like, more short-term goals that lead to bigger things. Like, step-by-step building. So we don't have huge kind of you know, and you never know what's going to come, because amazing things come.
Yeah,
like
absolutely. I mean, that's why, you know, when we talk about collaborations, is the limited editions are the best editions. Yeah. So sometimes you got, I've worked with brands where, Anna's had one meeting last week where they're working on a brand collaboration which has been over a year, and it's like, that's good, it's a big collaboration, but the small ones, limited editions, quick and fast, the different industries, it keeps fresh, and it keeps a story alive when you're posting on Instagram.
Yeah, so every buyer feels special as well, doesn't it? You know, like, oh, it's limited edition, it's mine, I've got a piece of that. No one else can get it now. Once it's sold, it's,
and well, the price point remains, it goes up.
Yeah.
When you look at any limited edition, it's the FOMO culture, like, I have to have it. So then you keep it, and the price goes up.
Yeah, I think when you're a creative, you can create and create and create. So I'm thinking now about spring, summer. I can't wait to get drawing to do the next collection. And then the older ones you can't get again. So, you know, once you have a bag or a product, or anything, I've got these little bags we did for winter, and this is just a sample of it. And you know, once they're gone, they're gone. So it's like, you can keep it going, and if something doesn't work, try something else. I think you just have to do, like, you don't know until you've done it. Like, just get out there, take a risk, and just go for it. Like, we had the great opportunity the other day. We got tickets, we were invited to the Simon Cowell Ball. So my new husband and I went along, and it was like, put a lot into the system. So there's 400 people there. So I put a lot in, and basically I said, I'll give £1,500 worth of a painting to the charity. It's a great charity that he runs, to do a graffiti piece. And then I went up to Simon and I introduced myself. So I was like, hello, Simon, it's so nice to meet you. I've just put a bid in for your charity. I just want to introduce myself. I've got a studio in East London. And he was like, oh, let me know how to work this system and I'll bid on it. So he ended up bidding on my work. So it's just about finding these opportunities and grabbing them grabbing them.
Yeah.
And just do it. Like, you've got nothing to lose. And if you want to email, if you want a page a spread in Vogue, go and find a contact, find an editor, follow them on Instagram, have something to talk about, have some art, have content, and send it to them.
Yeah. And that's the, you know, what we were talking about earlier about the platform, you know, the platform which you can use.
Yeah.
But you have to use it. So people's talking, the Caviar Spin is a brand collaboration platform. Yes, but you have to use it the same as you have to go to the gym. You have to go on it. You have to talk to people. It just doesn't come. I don't know anyone successful, if they say it just happens, it just happens. No, it doesn't just happen.
Right.
It's previous things you've done in the past which makes contacts and networks and, you know, reasons for them to then contact you later on.
Yeah, it's relentless, and it is all the time. Like, this week I want to be able to do a graffiti in Shoreditch, and then I'm doing a bauble painting class on Sunday, and it is weekends and it is after work, but it becomes your life. So it's not like a 9-to-5 job. It's, as you all know, it's like waking up, doing this, and then the afternoon you can, like, you know, get this in, and it's just being free like water, and you have to just see where it takes you. But that's the way I work. Some people are more structured and they like a structure and plan. If you do that, amazing, like, go for it and actually try and get your goals. But I feel like everything's there. Like, if you want to be connected to something like your platform, it's go onto the platform, use it, find who you want to collaborate with, partner up with them, and you know, it's all at your tip of your finger.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's chatting, you know, it's making a conversation, building a relationship, and connecting people, which is what we all need to do more of, you know.
Yeah. And enjoy the process as well. Like, it is, you know, some days it is so hard, and I'm like, you know, it is hard. And, you know, I sit with the products in the stock, and I'm like, how am I going to get rid of, the products? And then I'm in a store, like we did Phoenix and John Lewis, and we just did a pop-up, and I love it. And you're with people and you're selling, and then you get your love back, and you're like, this is why I do it, because you're giving your art and your gift to other people, and then you get your momentum back again. So it's like, it's ups and downs. And I think if you do step by step, if you can do a little bit a day, and don't be hard on yourself. Everyone puts so much pressure on yourself. A little bit a day, it adds up in a year.
Absolutely. And you do have to celebrate the small, quick wins, not keep looking for the big thing. Just celebrate a contact getting back to you, or celebrate a meeting, because that just gives you the fire to keep going. But so what's the pitch wish list for 2022? What are you going to be looking at collaboration wise? What do you love to do? What do you love to paint on?
A store that we're going to be going. I don't know if I'm allowed to. I've got one on the cards, which could be quite a biggie, which could be brilliant. But I'm not actually. I hate it when people say this, but I'm actually not allowed to say.
Oh, I like that.
It's the first time I've ever said that.
Early 2022.
Yeah. It'll be early 2022. So yeah, that could be brilliant. And just like, where can we do a pop-up? So I'm going to go into John Lewis again and do a pop-up there. I want to, in the beginning of January, I want to create. So, because I've been doing a lot of the business side, like even when you're a small business, you're doing like the schlapping and what people don't see, you're lifting these heavy boxes to go to the show. Like we're doing the manpower, I'm doing it, or a lot of it. But I've got an amazing team as well, who do a lot behind the scenes, but it's like a lot of like physical and then I just want to keep my head down, and I just want to create and just sit and work and paint and draw and do like a whole new art, like, just get creative. I think you need to make space for that. And I've worked to get there, as in this year, I've done lots of the legwork in the back end, and then I need to make time to get into the studio again and create.
Shut the world off and just
exactly
open mind up.
We'll be helping you doing all the other stuff, Charlotte. So we've got a few cool things which we're speaking about in the Middle East at the moment. So you keep creative and let us do the other bits.
I mean, with the collaborations out this year, there's been so many collaborations that's happened, and in the past, what do you feel would be your top 2-3 collaborations that you admire the most, that really kind of took you back and you're like, wow, that's a good one?
I just went to a show that Gucci did. Have you seen The House of Gucci yet?
No, I haven't. I'm dying to see it.
That's really good. It's all about like branding and that kind of thing, and it is a brilliant story. It's like a love story twist. But they've just done Gucci have just done a collaboration with, is it Balenciaga?
Oh yes, I love that one. Miley Cyrus was wearing it on the road in LA when they did the catwalk show.
So I went to their store in Shoreditch, and it was unbelievable. So you walk in, and the whole of the shop front has got big GG on it, graffitied. You go in, the carpet is unbelievable. It's very Instagrammable. You go upstairs in these like silver kind of, curtains that you pull back, and then you're on the top floor, and they're giving you coffee and Gucci coffee cups, and they're giving free coffee to people in Shoreditch, just like the trendy area. And I think people want to see interaction, and everything's on the phone as well. Like I actually went to a 12-year-old's party, and all the girls are like glued to their phones now. So how can you make a space where people can interact with the space? So I think that was a really, really amazing one, because people want an immersive, immersive experience. And that's where artists can come in. So, I will draw and paint for a brand, and I can, although we have our product range to one side, I will be in store customizing artworks for people. I did a big Christmas thing last year with Brown Thomas, where I painted everyone's children's faces and their faces and portraits into an artwork, and they had a big Christmas lunch. Or for Louis Vuitton, I'll go in and do I'll do an initial artwork, and then I'll paint portraits of each VIP client. So it can kind of, you can use your skills and have an experience at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Look, we've literally just run out of time, and I hate having to be all formal. I want to keep talking. Look, Charlotte,
we can talk forever, though.
I know we can always talk. But Charlotte, you've just given off some amazing insights, and I think, you know, part of, you know, part of why we're doing the brand collaborations is this whole like education of where people can really just value so much more if they just get rid of their blinkers and become very creative and just go out there and you know, meet other brands and kind of collaborate with them and make some really cool things happen. And you are one which is, you're just like rocket fuel. You're doing so well, and yeah, you are absolutely awesome. And we're looking forward to loads of stuff for you next year.
Brilliant. And also on, you know, social media is just like you can just email people saying, I'd love to collaborate with you, see if they get back. All there.
Give it a go.
Yeah,
give it a go. But right, we're going to sign off.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, brilliant.
It's so lovely to talk to you both.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to record this and repost. Okay. And then any other questions we'll ping over. And if you could answer, that'd be great.
Sure.
Lovely. Okay. All right. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.